don't like it. I don't think Arteta knows how to create a good attack. I don't. I think
Oh,
if
I
he
disagree with that. I think he doesn't want to, and that's where my
oh,
issue
you
is.
think he doesn't want
You
to?
don't. Clearly don't want. You don't want to, like, because Arteta, like, as much as on the face of it, just I agree with what you're saying. It's just if I say, all right, cool, I feel like that. Let me put my opinion to the side. Then look at this. All right, there was that season where what Odegaard was doing madness, Saka, all these guys, and we was good on the transition. Now you might be scarred from that season. There's changing
Mhm.
dynamics, all of that kind of stuff. But that is a result of training. So I refuse to believe that has gone somewhere. You're choosing not to do it. And if you're choosing not to do it, why are you choosing to do that? Like, I don't understand football like Mikel Arteta. This is why either way, it's your fault. I don't know if it's you're scarred. I don't know if it's you're so focused on the opposition. I don't know. But come on, it doesn't take a genius. Like, some people even doing this. Oh, Gyökeres weren't his first choice. I don't want to hear that, because at the end of the day, he's a better striker than what we had. He's 27. He's not going to change. Personally, I think Gyökeres is not perfect. He's quite cumbersome. He runs quite.
We need
He's a
to
bit.
talk about the Gyökeres. We need to have a longer.
Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's just do it. Let's
We
go.
have to, because I'm just like, I don't like doing, like, I feel like this is why I almost, when I said I wanted Sesko, it was for this exact reason. Not because I didn't think that Gyökeres was a better option in terms of like he's already ready to go, but I just knew he wasn't going to fit Arteta's like system, and we weren't going to create enough chances for him. Arteta likes a false nine. He loves a
Yeah.
false nine. That is what he's always wanted. When Aubameyang was here, he shunted Aubameyang out to the wing and played Lacazette in the 9. Then he turned around and he brought in Jesus. Then he turned around and started using Kai Havertz. I'm not saying that he doesn't. I feel like people get way too black and white about things. I don't think he did not want Gyökeres. I just don't think Gyökeres was his first choice. But of course, he would take Gyökeres because it's better than not
That or
having
nothing.
anything. Exactly. And so I think he wanted Sesko because Sesko was, probably more of what he wanted in terms of a
But we be
target
saying the same
man.
things about Sesko, though. If he was any striker, I
But
genuinely believe
but
that.
but Sesko is more like a player that is going to win headers and get on the end of crosses, which is how we play. Gyökeres is the exact opposite. He needs to run into channels. I think at the bare minimum, Sesko was going to be able to be somebody that when we avoided the middle of the pitch and got into wide areas and put in crosses, he was somebody that would be able to get his head on the ball. I think and also he was young and Kai Havertz was going to be the starter. We know that. And I mean, think about the travesty that would be in right now had Kai Havertz had gotten injured and we'd be using Sesko, because Sesko, he's not ready.
You weren't
He's
ready for that
really,
move,
really,
man. The
really raw.
environment at United is horrible, man.
100%. So Arteta would be doing all type of madness right now. But Gyökeres, I think the conversation is just never nuanced. And I liked the way that you put it. Like, we're obviously not playing to his strengths, but there are parts of his game that if they don't improve in terms of like being able to make a decision quicker or move his body quick enough to get his shots off and stuff, he's not going to reach the heights that we want to. I think that's one thing that stands out to me about Gyökeres, is that it takes him too long to get the shot off or to get moving. He's, like you said, he's cumbersome. But that being said, there's been enough, like the couple of moments that we've seen him actually score, there's enough there where I feel like he could be a flat track bully if we at least get him the
Can
ball.
he even be a flat track bully? Because I only say that because we cry about breaking down low blocks. Yeah, 9 times out of 10, obviously City done that, but 9 times out of 10, that comes against the smaller sides. And I feel there's a tax that has to be applied not just to Gyökeres but all our attackers, because we touched on Eze. That's something, we
Yeah,
said that last season, innit? For me with Gyökeres, I don't think he's perfect. I agree with what you said. I don't necessarily think Arteta didn't want him, but I don't think he's his first choice. I think
right.
he's adapted to the system more than Arteta's adapted to him. We all know it's out of the front three, you go back in the early 2000s or mid 2000s, 4-3-3, the strikers laughing. The wide men are the ones that benefit really just the right hand side from our football team. I personally think Gyökeres is living off scraps. The man's had 7 shots, got 3 goals in 5 games. That's definitely not sustainable. We need to simply put, we need to create more chances. You saw him score a tap in against when Eze set him up. I actually think the goal he scored against Leeds was great, but probably the worst thing ever, because there probably is elements you could force the issue out a bit more for yourself. But I don't want my striker to have to do that. There's no way he's getting service. You know, you look. Do you know what the saddest thing is? A 15-year-old in Max Dowman, his little cameo yesterday. That's what I want to see, and I think Max Dowman hasn't been. You know, that hasn't been coached out of his game by Arteta yet. He tried to find him. Gyökeres wants to be quick on the transitions. And being a striker in today's day and age, much less at Arsenal, as you said, he loves false nines. It's a selfless job. You're dropping into midfield, you're pulling to the left. And what I would say to Gyökeres is, bro, if we're asking questions about Gyökeres and Eze, there's issues. And I know Arteta doesn't want to change, but that's a reason as to why I wanted Gyökeres, because he forces you to change. The man's 27. We're not going to see him look like Gabriel Jesus. I do think there's things he can improve. Like you said, getting the shots away. But I just think he's on his J's. We touched on the midfield looking shaky. How can our attack gel in? As you know, it goes from defense to midfield up front.
After this is how, after the Bilbao game in the Champions League, there were conversations being had about Eze. You know, and I'm like, every time a player doesn't have a great game, we don't really take into consideration how they're being utilized. And I think not even just from Gyökeres, not even just from Eze, there's a historical pattern of certain types of players not being played to their strengths. Arteta likes certain types of players. That's why he continues to buy them. That's why he keeps getting second strikers, false nines, players like that, because that's what he likes. So, and they have to adapt to him. Gyökeres is doing a lot of holding the ball up and link up plays and stuff like that. But if you go and look at that, there's a chart going around about who takes the most shots in our team. Would it be surprising to you guys if it was the Declan Rices, the Zubamendis, the Calafioris?
Timber's created our most chances. Calafiori's been in the box the most times. I'm sorry, this is woke bullshit.
Our attackers facilitate for suboptimal options in goal scoring situations, because in no way, shape, or form is Timber or Calafiori or Rice or Zubamendi better options in attacking positions than Eze, Ethan, Saka. But that's how our system has been built. There were times last season where we saw attackers creating chances for Declan Rice and Yuri and Timber. This is not new. So for me, until I see Gyökeres getting into these positions often and fluffing his lines or not putting the ball in the back of the net, missing chances, doing up Giroud, then for me, it's systematic until otherwise. But there still are parts of his games that are imperfect, and those things need to be highlighted as well.
Yeah, 100%. Like, there's certain things he's got to do better, and all of those things. But I genuinely think it's more on Arteta. Like, even when you look at this, I don't know if anyone in the chat can see, but coincidentally, I happen to be reading this on The Athletic. It says where Gyökeres is taking his open play touches in his last 5 games. Now, he's not been in the box that many times. So this tells me the man might not be perfect, and he might not be the Arteta, ideal striker, but he's doing his best of putting himself about. You're not in the box. Fair enough, the dynamics are different. We're at home against Leeds and Forest versus United, Liverpool and City, where I think every Arsenal fan probably concedes whoever's up front, you're probably not going to get too much joy. But no matter how woke this football game that we all love it develops, you've got to get your fucking strikers in the box. I'm sorry, Arteta. You know more about football than me. That's why you're getting 15 million a year. You're taking the piss. The man's 27. You're taking the piss. I believe in Berta, I trust. I believe in Berta a lot more than the gaffer. Come on, man. Because if you slap Gyökeres and some other teams, he's looking great. It's a different thing.
I think if Kai Havertz was fit, he would have started against City and Liverpool.
Yeah.
Because Arteta would have went with, because that's a part of his big game thing.
He would have only had 2 starts this season against Forest and Leeds.
I think so. Because he views those games as the big games and away from home. He would have been doing that in Champions League. With Gyökeres, I just think that if I'm being brutally honest, I feel like what's going to happen to him is the frustration is going to continue. Havertz is going to get fit. Havertz will start playing, and it'll just, Gyökeres type of player if he did go somewhere else, he would instantly start scoring, because he just is not being he's not being fed. I'm so sorry. And even if he's slow, or when's the last time, all strikers,
it used to be a dream being a striker at this football club.
Yeah, all strikers don't need to be fast. Oh, he's not fast. Okay, all strikers are not the quickest. We just
isn't fast. How many goals did he get last year? Or the year before?
Yeah, he's not in the box enough. We don't create chances for him. And I think Arteta's
He's
ideal
not evolving.
striker would be like Isak. And then if
Yeah.
he can't get Isak, it would be Jesus.
But even
He's
if he got Isak, Isak would have struggled. He probably would have more goals than Gyökeres' individual brilliance. But it's not a striker's dream. On the face of it, yeah, Arsenal historically, number 14, Odegaard, Eze, this one, that one. Bro, you're
yeah,
asking your striker to defend. And I get it, and so do you in the modern day. But look at the touches in the box.
it's dark.
7 shots in 5 games with 3 goals. One was a penalty, one was a great bit of solo effort, one was a tap-in. It's not sustainable. And then Dons are going to get at him. You see it yourself because you make content. You would think Gyökeres is the only footballer or big money striker that hasn't bagged. You think he hasn't scored for this team full stop? Arteta, you've got the tools. You're not using the tools properly. And it's
Yeah,
not just him, it's Eze. I get it. He looks at Eze as this versatile kind of guy, but
he's not
bro,
that.
strip it back now. Pause. Like, play football now, man.
Eze is this is the thing. It's like for most Arsenal fans, I feel like we view Eze as a starter. You know, he's a starter. He's one of your best players. Like
Facts.
as soon as he puts on the kit, he is the guy. Like he's going to be one of your main guys. Arteta views him as an option in a group of players that are like tools for different days. That's the issue.
Horses for
He,
courses.
yeah, he views like Trossard and Martinelli as options and tools that he can utilize in certain games. And I just feel like Eze is the answer. Like Eze is the answer to a lot of the problems that we
Him and
have.
Gyökeres got a good relationship as well already.
Exactly. So lean into that instead of fighting against it. In some sort of like desperate attempt to stick on to something that never won us anything to begin with. This has never won us anything. So sticking on to it, I can understand if you're sticking on to something that had won us things before, but it's never won us anything. So there's no point in like holding on with for dear life. We need to. I have a very similar feeling with him than somebody said it yesterday on my stream, and I feel like he has a lot of that Southgate in him where he'll get you really close with making sure that he's being pragmatic, but you'll always ask questions why this complement of like very talented attackers just don't look great.
Because Arteta's not a good attacking manager. You've shown it in
Yeah.
previous years, but the Arteta that got us for the first title challenge is not the Arteta now. You're a very good defensive side manager,
Oh, he's
arguably
changed
the best
so
in
much
the world.
since then.
You're mediocre in the final third. Some man, let's be very honest. There's a couple managers in the league that are doing better with less. Ariola got ransacked. He's still playing great football. You know, there's bro, it's all on you, Arteta. You've got the tools, bro, and you've got it. I refuse to believe you can't coach attacking football. You're choosing not to, and it's pissing me off. Actually, is because that's all we're missing.
And when Jesus was in the team, he kind of just got carte blanche to do whatever he wanted. He's one of the only players that I've ever seen Arteta just give free reign. Jesus was doing whatever he wanted, and it worked for us, and I feel like there should be at least 1 or 2 players in this team that get carte blanche,
especially the 8 players that play in the front three.
100%. And there's no one. Not even Saka gets freedom to do whatever he wants. And that's the problem. Like if Saka had freedom and Eze had freedom and everything else was the same, you would see better results because you just at least had 2 people that could just but no one has freedom. Everybody is like, he is not the manager that's like, oh, I'm getting
only the nerds have freedom in this team. Havertz, Gyökeres, the nerds.
Yeah. So yeah, I think it is Arteta. I said it on that video and I stand beside
Good
it.
video for what it's worth. Smash the like button and check that out. People.
I appreciate it. And I anticipated people being upset by it, but I feel like at this stage, you spent so much money. We've changed out the attackers. You've gotten different people. You have all the tools. We said at the beginning of the season that this team was good enough to win something. So when you peel that back, it's the manager. He can be the solution if he wants to, but if he's hard-headed and he keeps going into pressers, acting all defensive because he has a burner account, he's getting mad. He's just setting himself up.
Gyökeres has one as well, to be fair.
Gyökeres does, but we have a chronically online team. Let's be honest.
Like loves it. He loves it.
Chronically online, looking to see what we're saying and stuff. And like, listen, I'm all for with the players. I'm okay with that. With the manager, it gives me a little bit of like, you need to be focused. You need to be focused.
That's something we're missing out on, Jess, man. Like you alluded to it, yeah. And I did. People asked me to ask you, and I did promise them I would, yeah. You kind of alluded to it. What do you make of his comments? Because he's gone and said, I heard a lot of things using my phone. They could not believe what we did to Man City. Play people who are coaches, managers, CEO, and presidents. He did have comments about domination as well. He is right in a sense that City did have 34% of the ball and whatnot. He did talk about the handbrake. Does this show the pressure that he's getting to him, or is he just getting pissed off with the
Well,
media asking dumb questions?
this is not the first time that Arteta said things like this. Arteta has been kind of like this, like basically post the 22-23 season, he's had this edge about him. And a lot of people have said that he knows how to do with the press. He's so good with the media because he has like these little quips and he uses like these analogies and all that kind of